There's a certain type of person who breaks you open, and you don't even see it coming. They feel familiar, magnetic, faded. But no matter how deep it goes, it always ends the same way. Pain, confusion, and a piece of you missing. What if it's not random? What if the real reason these relationships hit so hard is written in your birth chart? Your 12th house sign reveals the energy that holds your deepest karmic patterns, hidden fears, spiritual blind spots, and past life contracts. This is the energy you unconsciously attract, but often feel the most betrayed by. In this video, I'm breaking down what each 12th house sign says about the people who have the power to wound you deeply, and how to finally break the cycle and reclaim your power. So check your 12th house zodiac sign. It may hurt to hear it, but I promise you, it will set you free. Aries in the 12th house is the wound of abandonment versus assertion. This is the karmic energy of being overlooked, silenced, or erased, and the pain of attracting people who dominate or dismiss your truth. With Aries tucked away in your 12th house, you carry past life and ancestral imprints around suppressed anger, lost identity, and fear of asserting your will. You were likely conditioned to believe that being bold, angry, or self-directed would result in rejection, punishment, or isolation. This karmic pattern can show up as a tendency to self-abandon before others can, feeling guilt or anxiety around confrontation or rocking the boat, holding back your desires to avoid appearing selfish, confusing passivity with peace, and even a fear that if you speak up, you'll be seen as too much. You may have spiritualized silence, mistaking suppression for grace. But the truth is, you've been hiding your fire, and it's starting to burn you from the inside out. Now, when Aries energy appears in the form of people, they often arrive like a karmic bulldozer, fast, intense, and unapologetic. They seem brave, driven, passionate, but over time, these qualities can start to trigger you. So you may attract or feel deeply impacted by people who are blunt and reactive, speaking before thinking. People who are emotionally detached, pushing past your feelings. People who are focused on winning, not listening. People who are ego-driven, competitive, or self-serving, as well as people who are quick-tempered or use control as a form of dominance. Now, at first, you may admire their confidence, but eventually their behavior may feel like a threat to your safety or your self-worth. You may shrink around them until one day you snap, not even recognizing yourself. These aren't random dynamics. They are soul contracts. They're here to wake up your power by showing you where you gave it away. Now, these karmic ties are rarely soft. They break you open, not to destroy you, but to return you to yourself. What these connections often teach you after the pain is that self-suppression is not selflessness. That the part of you that wants to speak up is not bad, it's brave. That you're not here to live in the background of other people's lives. That anger is a compass, not a flaw. And that standing up for yourself doesn't mean you have to mirror their behavior. Once you stop fearing your fire, you'll realize it's what protects your peace, not disrupts it. These relationships activate the part of your soul that's been waiting to scream, I matter too. Now, to begin to heal the karmic cycle of having Aries ruling your 12th house, the first step is to name the pain instead of spiritualizing it. It's easy to slap a spiritual label on a soul tie while you're still bleeding. But calling it a lesson too soon keeps you in the cycle. Be honest with yourself. This hurt you. This erased you. You deserved better. So instead of calling it a lesson, try writing a letter titled, What I Never Got to Say. Let your anger out on paper. No filter, no pretty phrasing. Let the fire burn clean. Next is to connect with your healthy anger. You've been told anger is dangerous, unattractive, or unspiritual. But anger is a messenger. It tells you what crossed the line. It tells you what you won't tolerate anymore. So stand in front of a mirror and say, I am allowed to be angry. I am allowed to protect myself. I am allowed to say no. Notice where your body tightens or softens. Let that be the start of the conversation. Next is to practice saying what you need out loud. Aries energy in the 12th house means your voice has lived in the shadows, but now it's time to let it out. You don't need to wait for permission. So start small. Ask for something in your daily life that you usually avoid. So say, I need a moment, or that doesn't work for me. Then celebrate the courage it took. Next is to visualize cord cutting, not from a particular person, but from the pattern. This isn't just about the Aries type ex or friend. It's about the cycle, the soul contract, the belief that you must stay silent to survive. So, in meditation, visualize a red cord connecting you to an archetype of domination or erasure. Then imagine cutting the cord with golden scissors. Breathe into the silence and connect to what rises in its place. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract
of having Aries in your 12th house is, I am safe to speak up. I no longer attract people who silence me. My voice is sacred. My needs are valid. And I choose myself now. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments what you connected with most. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you're loving this energy and want to keep going even deeper, I've linked some powerful offerings below to guide you into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Taurus in the 12th house is the illusion of safety. This is the karmic energy of clinging to comfort at the cost of growth, and the pain of attracting people who withhold love, security, or support just to feel in control. With Taurus in your 12th house, your soul carries old stories around security, survival, and worthiness tied to stability. In a past life, or early in this one, you may have experienced financial instability, emotional withholding, physical loss, or relationships where love was conditional. This created a core imprint. If I'm not useful, easy, or calm, I'll be abandoned. So you learned to keep the peace, stay still, tolerate discomfort, and avoid asking for more. Taurus here often hides a fear of instability so deep that you cling to what's familiar, even when it's hurting you. You may unconsciously attract people who promise safety, then withhold it, awakening your deepest fears and emotional dependencies. People who trigger your Taurus 12th house often seem emotionally or financially unavailable, stubborn, withholding, or emotionally flat. People who are reliable at first, then unresponsive. They often seem grounded on the outside, but disconnected inside, as well as someone who is resistant to growth, emotional conversation, or change. You might feel like you're chasing their consistency, trying to earn their affection, clinging to the comfort of what they represent, even if their energy feels cold. And this is the trap. They mirror your own fear of letting go. The pain isn't just them leaving. It's realizing how long you stayed in something that never truly nourished you. Now, these connections often teach you after the pain that true safety doesn't come from people. It comes from self-worth. Once the illusions fall away, you're left with the deeper truth. Security that's built on self-abandonment isn't safety, it's bondage. Being easygoing or low maintenance doesn't guarantee love. That you're allowed to want more, and you're allowed to need more. It teaches you that you're not a burden for desiring comfort, affection, and care, and that you are allowed to release what drains you, even if it's familiar. These people come into your life to help you reclaim your value from those who made you question it. They help you to stop settling. Now, to begin to heal the karmic cycle of having Taurus ruling your 12th house, this healing process is about rebuilding your definition of safety from the inside out. So the first step is to name what you stayed in out of fear and not alignment. So this is about radical honesty. Where have you held on because letting go felt scarier than suffering? So write a list that's titled Things I Stayed In to Feel Safe That Weren't Actually Safe. Circle the ones you're ready to release, energetically or physically. Next is to feel your worth independent of what you give. You don't need to earn love through steadiness, loyalty, or quiet suffering. Your presence alone is worthy. So each morning, put your hand on your heart and say, even if I do nothing today, I am enough. Even if I disappoint someone, I am still worthy. Next is to practice letting go before you feel ready. Taurus energy can hold on out of habit, but part of healing is releasing before the next big thing arrives. So declutter one thing that no longer reflects the future version of you. So this could be a piece of clothing, an item that's tied to someone, or a song that keeps looping pain. And finally, reclaim your sensual, sacred presence. Your nervous system has learned to tolerate instead of feel. It's time to come back into your body with gentleness and pleasure. So light a candle, play grounding music, and do a self-oil massage with the intention, I am worthy of comfort that doesn't cost me my soul. A great affirmation for you to clear the contract of having your Taurus 12th house is, I am no longer available for comfort that costs me my peace. I release relationships that require me to shrink. I am worthy of softness, safety, and soul-deep security. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if you want to dive even deeper into your chart, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below that are all designed to help you fully step into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Gemini in the 12th house is the voice you silenced. This is the karmic energy of suppressing your truth to stay safe, and the pain of attracting people who talk over you, confuse you, or make you question your own mind. Now, with Gemini in the 12th house, your soul carries ancient memories of being misunderstood, dismissed, or even punished for speaking freely. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have been shamed for asking questions. lived in environments where truth was distorted or punished, been gaslit, manipulated, or silenced, or learned to be agreeable over being honest. So you stopped using your voice. You became the listener, the adapter, the peacemaker. You kept your thoughts to yourself because saying the wrong thing felt dangerous. Now, this fear lives in your unconscious, and it manifests through people who mirror your silenced truth in confusing, painful ways. Now, with Gemini in the 12th, you may attract people who are talkative, charismatic, and persuasive. People who talk at you instead of with you. People who use intellect to dominate or avoid intimacy. People who send mixed signals or change their minds constantly. Or even people who use your words against you or confuse you with theirs. Now, at first, these people may seem interesting, even exhilarating, but over time, they overwhelm your nervous system. You can't quite pin them down. You question yourself constantly in their presence, and you forget how to trust your voice. This is the karmic pull. Their chaos triggers your buried clarity. Their words stir your silent truth. Now, often after the pain, these connections often teach you to come back to your own mind, your own voice, your inner truth. These types of connections teach you that clarity is not external, it's internal. That your voice is sacred, even when it shakes. That you don't need to justify or explain what you feel. That silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's suppression. And they also teach you that you're not responsible for understanding everyone, especially those who deliberately confuse you. These karmic ties break the spell of silence that you've lived under for lifetimes. They don't just teach you to speak up. They teach you to believe in yourself again. Now, to begin to heal the karmic cycle of having Gemini ruling your 12th house, the healing begins with giving yourself permission to speak what was never safe to say. So the first step is to acknowledge where you've been silenced or second-guessed. You're not making it up. You've been dismissed before, but you don't have to keep dismissing yourself. So write a list called Things I Wasn't Allowed to Say. Then speak one out loud, even if no one else hears it. It's enough that you did. Next is to stop explaining yourself to be understood. You don't need to over-explain, intellectualize, or defend your feelings. You are allowed to say, "This is how I feel," and let that be final. So the next time someone pushes for a rational reason for your emotions, respond with, "It doesn't have to make sense to you for it to be valid for me." Next is to rebuild your trust in your own intuition. Gemini energy can be scattered, And in the 12th house, it can confuse your own inner knowing. Ground yourself in one simple truth. Your feelings are facts for you. So when you feel overwhelmed by someone else's words, ask, is this their truth or my truth? Write your answer down before speaking again. And finally, let your voice come out, even when it feels awkward. You're not here to be polished. You're here to be honest. Let your communication be real, messy, and human. So record a voice memo to yourself every day for a week. Speak from the heart. Listen back and notice how powerful your voice is when no one else is shaping it. A great affirmation for you to clear the contract of having Gemini ruling your 12th house is, I release the fear of being misunderstood. I reclaim my voice as a sacred tool of truth. I no longer shrink my truth to avoid discomfort. I let it rise. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this spoke to you and you're ready for even more, I have a whole lineup of offerings waiting for you below, all crafted to help you rise into your next level. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Cancer in the 12th house is the karmic energy of giving love to feel safe, and the pain of attracting people who need you, drain you, or reject your emotional truth. With Cancer in the 12th house, your soul carries ancient wounds around nurturing, abandonment, emotional safety, and caretaking as a survival mechanism. In past lives or early in this lifetime, you may have been a caretaker to a parent, partner, or community at your own expense. You may have been emotionally neglected, but expected to be emotionally available. You may have equated love with self-sacrifice. And you may have learned that your worth comes from what you give, not who you are. As a result, you may bury your needs, silence your emotions, and create a persona of calm comfort, even when you're falling apart inside. You unconsciously attract people who mirror this wound. Those who are emotionally unavailable, needy, or who take from your nurturing without giving anything in return. You feel safe being needed, but often you're not being loved, you're being used. With Cancer in the 12th, you might attract people who are deeply wounded, fragile, or emotionally chaotic. People who expect you to hold it all together. Those who trigger your instinct to mother, fix, or save. People who are emotionally manipulative or guilt-driven, as well as people who dismiss your needs while demanding your emotional labor. You may find yourself overextending, caretaking, and softening your voice. You might give and give, only to feel unseen, unappreciated, or outright abandoned. This is the karmic loop. You pour into others what you've never received. And somewhere deep down, you believe if you love hard enough, they'll finally stay. These connections don't break you because you're weak. They break you because you've been holding up everyone but yourself. They teach you that being needed is not the same as being loved. That self-neglect isn't compassion, it's codependency. That your softness deserves to be received, not just used. That the little you inside still wants to be held, not just hold everyone else. And that real intimacy is mutual, not one-sided. This is the awakening of emotional boundaries. The realization that your inner child deserves a caregiver too, and that person is now you. Now, healing Cancer in the 12th is about breaking the belief that your love must come through labor. It's time to mother yourself first. The first step to this is to name the relationships where love became a job. Think of the ones where you became their therapist, their mother, their savior. Be honest about how much you gave and what it cost you. So you can journal the following. In this relationship, I took on the role of. Then write what role you really wanted to be in, such as lover, equal, or friend, and let that truth be seen. Next is to let your emotional needs come first. You're allowed to say, I need. You're allowed to say, I can't. You don't have to bleed to be a good person. So this week, practice saying, I'm not available for that right now. Give no explanation, just protection. Next is to reconnect with the version of you that doesn't give to be loved. You are lovable in silence. You are worthy without giving anything. Sit with that. Each morning, ask yourself, what does my heart need from me today? Then follow through with one small act of emotional nourishment. And finally, create rituals that hold you instead of others. You're always the one doing the holding, so flip it. Let your healing be about receiving. So wrap yourself in a blanket. Place a hand on your chest and say aloud, I am safe now. I am home now. I belong to me. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract of having Cancer ruling your 12th house is, I am no longer available for love that empties me. I release the belief that I must give to be kept. My emotions are sacred, and my care begins with me. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this lit something up inside of you, don't stop here. Dive into the description box for next step offerings to help you fully own your growth. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Leo in the 12th house is the fear of taking up space. This is the karmic energy of hiding your light to stay safe, and the pain of attracting people who overshadow you, ignore you, or make you question your right to be seen. Now, with Leo in the 12th house, your soul carries old wounds around visibility, self-worth, recognition, and the fear of being punished for standing out. In past lives or early childhood, you may have been shamed or rejected for expressing yourself. You may have experienced humiliation or betrayal when you sought attention or validation. You may have grown up in an environment where shining was unsafe or resented. Or you may have learned to stay invisible to avoid ridicule or conflict. So now you stay hidden. Not because you lack brilliance, but because you fear what that brilliance might cost you. So you may downplay your gifts. You may edit your personality. You may silence your radiance. And you unconsciously attract people who reinforce this story. People who are loud, self-focused, or unwilling to reflect your light back to you. Now, with Leo in your 12th house, you may attract people who constantly seek attention or validation. People who dominate the spotlight in relationships. People who talk over you, dismiss you, or minimize your presence. People who demand loyalty but offer little in return, as well as people who expect you to applaud their shine but ignore yours. Now, at first, these people may seem magnetic, bold, confident, exciting, but over time, they make you feel like you're fading in the background of your own life. And this is the karmic mirror. Their self-importance reveals your fear of being seen. They take up the space you've been trained to believe you're not allowed to occupy. These relationships feel triggering because they are trying to wake you up. They teach you that being seen doesn't mean being rejected. That your presence doesn't need to be earned. It already matters. That you are allowed to want appreciation, attention, and recognition. That hiding doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you invisible. And that your inner child is still waiting for someone to say, "I'm proud of you." These karmic ties exist to help you reclaim your light, not to perform, not to compete, but to finally realize you are allowed to shine just because you were born to. Now, healing Leo in the 12th house means giving yourself permission to be seen, heard, and celebrated without guilt, apology, or fear. Now, the first step to this is to name the moments you dimmed your light to keep the peace. Where have you been minimizing your success, talent, or beauty to avoid making others uncomfortable? So write a list that's titled, Ways I've Made Myself Smaller. Then write a new list, Ways I'm Ready to Be Seen. Let that second list guide your next moves. Next is to reclaim the spotlight without shame. You're not self-centered for wanting to be acknowledged. You're human. You deserve to be mirrored and met. So make a video or a voice note to yourself speaking affirmations. Watch it back. Look yourself in the eye and say, you deserve to be celebrated. Next is to validate yourself before waiting for others to do it. Waiting for praise only reinforces the wound. Speak your worth to yourself first. So every night, write down one moment you're proud of, no matter how small. Let that list grow longer than your list of fears. And finally, do something expressive without the goal of approval. So sing, dress up, dance, post something online. Leo heals through authentic expression, not performance. So choose one activity this week that allows you to be bold, creative, or playful just for you. Not for views, not for validation. Just to say, I'm here. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract that's attached to having Leo ruling your 12th house is, I no longer shrink to be safe. I release the fear of being seen. I am allowed to shine, take up space, and be celebrated just as I am. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments below. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you're craving even more of this energy, be sure to check out the description box for my next level offerings to help you embody your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Virgo in the 12th house is the burden of perfection. This is the karmic energy of over-fixing to feel worthy, and the pain of attracting people who project their chaos onto you, then blame you for not being able to heal them. With Virgo in the 12th house, your soul carries ancient contracts around perfectionism, guilt, emotional labor, and self-worth tied to service. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have been the emotional or energetic caretaker in your family or community. You may have felt responsible for keeping everything together so others wouldn't fall apart. You may have been rewarded for being useful, but punished for having needs. And you may have learned to equate love with labor and control with safety. So now you seek peace through control. You clean up other people's messes. You over-explain your boundaries. And you analyze everything, especially yourself. You unconsciously attract people who are messy, wounded, or lost. Not just because you want to help, but because you've been programmed to believe their healing is your responsibility. So with this energy, you may find yourself drawn to or drained by people who are disorganized, chaotic, unreliable, or emotionally avoidant. People who constantly come to you for help, but rarely change. People who expect you to be the strong one, the smart one, the stable one. People who blame you when things don't go right, even after you've tried everything. As well as people who disregard your exhaustion while demanding your energy. So you might think, if I can just fix this, they'll finally see my worth. But it never happens. Because this isn't about them. It's about a deeper, unconscious belief. If I can heal their brokenness, I'll finally prove I'm good enough to be loved. Now, after the pain, these karmic ties teach you the difference between helping and healing. You learn that love doesn't have to be earned through service. That you are not responsible for other people's potential. That your job isn't to save people from their path. It's to honor your own. You learn that being needed is not the same as being respected. And you learn that you deserve softness, rest, and care, not just productivity. Eventually, you reach the sacred truth that your value is not in what you fix, it's in what you feel. Now, healing Virgo in the 12th means learning how to stop hiding behind service and start honoring your soul. The first step to this is to identify the people you've tried to rescue. Be honest about where you've poured energy into others, hoping they'd finally get it. Release the illusion that love must look like labor. So make a list titled, People I've Tried to Save. Then, next to each name, write, I return your healing to you. I choose peace now. Next is to stop organizing chaos that doesn't belong to you. Just because you can hold it all doesn't mean you should. Let it fall. Let it be messy. Let people clean up their own lives. Next time someone vents or spirals, ask, do you want support or solutions? If they don't know, choose space. That's protection, not cruelty. Next is to rest without guilt. Nourish without apologizing. Your nervous system has lived on high alert for lifetimes. Your healing begins with choosing peace, even when there's more to do. So lie down in silence with your hand on your belly and say, nothing has to be fixed right now. It is safe for me to stop. And finally, let yourself be seen in your imperfection. Stop hiding behind productivity or emotional control. Let someone witness you exactly as you are, tired, undone, and healing. So send a voice note to someone you trust saying, I'm not okay today, and I don't need you to fix it. I just wanted to be real. That's intimacy. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract of having Virgo ruling your 12th house is, I release the burden of healing what was never mine. I am worthy without fixing, performing, or proving. My peace is sacred, and I choose myself first. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this lit a spark and you are craving even more, be sure to check out my offerings linked below that are all crafted to support your journey into your next season. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Libra in the 12th house is the disappearing act. This is the karmic energy of abandoning your truth to keep the peace, and the pain of attracting people who take, while offering conditional love in return. With Libra in the 12th house, your soul carries deep ancestral wounds around approval, harmony, and self-worth tied to being chosen or accepted. In past lives or early in this one, you may have learned to keep others happy to avoid abandonment. You may have been praised for being agreeable, charming, or emotionally low maintenance. You may have been punished or rejected when you voiced your needs or made waves. Or you may have absorbed the belief that conflict equals rejection and boundaries equals betrayal. So now you avoid discomfort like it's life or death. You hide your real opinions. You smile when you want to scream. You say yes when your soul says no. And you unconsciously attract people who reinforce that if you don't perform perfectly, they'll leave. Now, with this placement, you may be drawn to or deeply affected by people who expect emotional labor but offer little in return. People who are charming and persuasive but manipulative underneath. People who need constant agreement, validation, and praise. People who use guilt or passive aggression to get their way. Or people who disappear or distance themselves when you set boundaries. At first, these people feel magnetic, peaceful, easy to love. But eventually, you realize the peace comes at a cost of your voice. They represent the very energy you've been programmed to become, which is pleasant, polished, painless. And slowly, you disappear into what they need until you can't recognize yourself anymore. Now, after the pain, these karmic ties crack the illusion that being chosen is the goal. They teach you that you don't need to earn love by becoming agreeable. They teach you that peace built on self-abandonment isn't peace, it's imprisonment. They teach you that real connection includes disagreement, discomfort, and depth. You're learning that you are allowed to take up emotional space, and that someone loving you for your silence isn't love, it's convenience. This placement asks you to stop curating your identity for others and start standing inside your truth, even if it costs you someone who only loved your mask. Now, healing Libra in the 12th is about trading pleasing for truth and calling your whole self back home. So the first step is to name the times you abandon yourself to be liked. Who did you become to be loved? What did you give up to be chosen? These answers hold the key to your return. So write a letter that's titled, "The Version of Me I Created to Be Chosen." Read it back to yourself. Cry if you need to. Then burn it. Next is to practice saying what you really think. Your thoughts don't have to be pleasing to be valid. You don't need everyone to agree with you to feel safe. So pick one moment this week to express your honest opinion, especially when it contradicts someone else's. Watch how the world doesn't end. Next is to let the discomfort come and stay anyway. You don't have to fix every awkward silence, smooth over every tension, or say that it's fine when it's not. So next time someone's upset or distant, resist the urge to rescue the moment. Let it be awkward. You are still safe. And finally, rebuild your sense of worth outside of being desirable. You are not here to be easy to love. You are here to be real, felt, and respected. So stand in front of a mirror and say, "I am lovable when I say no. I am lovable when I'm angry. I am lovable when I'm not easy." Say it until you believe it. A great affirmation for you to clear the contract of having Libra ruling your 12th house is, "I no longer disappear to be chosen. I release the need to earn love through harmony. My truth is sacred, even when it's inconvenient." If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this spoke to you and you're ready for more, I have a whole lineup of offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all here to help you rise into your next level. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. Scorpio in the 12th house is the fear of emotional exposure. This is the karmic energy of hiding your depth to protect your heart, and the pain of attracting people who seduce, betray, or abandon you after getting too close. With Scorpio in the 12th house, your soul carries lifetimes of wounding around emotional exposure, betrayal, loss, and control. You may have experienced or inherited the belief that being vulnerable equals being destroyed, that trusting others leads to devastation, that intimacy is dangerous, or that emotional transparency gives others power over you. As a result, you've become a master of emotional privacy. You don't just hide your feelings. You bury them so deep, even you forget that they're there. You crave deep connection, but you simultaneously fear it. You want to be seen, but the moment someone gets close, you pull away, numb out, or shut down. You unconsciously attract people who reflect this emotional duality: intense, seductive, secretive, emotionally unavailable, or downright manipulative. They don't just hurt you. They mirror the very part of you you've locked in the basement. Scorpio 12th house energy draws in people who are emotionally magnetic, intense, or sexually alluring. People who are emotionally guarded, withholding, or manipulative. People who are possessive, secretive, or controlling. People who are drawn to chaos, drama, and trauma bonding, as well as those who are disconnected from their own truth, but obsessed with yours. They pull you in with their depth, then punish you for having your own. Or they demand vulnerability from you, only to weaponize it later. You often feel emotionally unseen, unsafe, or violated. But the truth is, you were already hiding when they showed up. Their betrayal only confirms your hidden belief. See, I can't trust anyone with my truth. Now, after the pain, these karmic bonds break down your walls, but not to destroy you. They come to awaken your ability to feel your emotions without shame or fear, to share your truth without needing to control the outcome, to trust your own intuition over anyone else's agenda, to recognize manipulation as a mirror of your own suppressed power, and to understand that emotional transparency is strength, not weakness. You are not here to suppress your emotional world. You're here to own it and create connections where nothing has to be hidden. Now, healing Scorpio in the 12th house is about reclaiming your emotional sovereignty and choosing connection that doesn't require betrayal as a teacher. So the first step to this is to acknowledge the pain you've buried. What you suppress doesn't disappear. it waits. Give yourself permission to feel what you've been avoiding. So sit alone in a quiet space. Place your hand on your heart and ask, what part of me am I afraid to let anyone see? Write what comes up without editing. Next is to name where you confuse control with safety. Letting go of emotional control doesn't mean losing your power. It means freeing it. So choose one area where you've been micromanaging emotionally. So in your text message responses, using silence as punishment, loosen the grip. Next is to let yourself be emotionally seen without performance. You don't have to be composed, seductive, or deep to earn closeness. You just have to be real. So tell someone how you feel before it's polished. Use voice instead of silence. Let it be awkward. Let it be alive. And finally, break the belief that betrayal is inevitable. Not everyone will violate your truth, but you have to stop violating it first by hiding it. Each time you want to withdraw emotionally, ask, is this protection or is this fear? Let the answer guide your next step. A great affirmation for you to clear the contract that comes with having Scorpio in your 12th house is, I release the belief that my truth is unsafe. I trust myself to feel, express, and connect deeply. I no longer hide my heart. I protect it by honoring it. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you are craving even more of this energy, be sure to check out the description box for my next level offerings to help you embody your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Sagittarius in the 12th house is the escape from self. This is the karmic energy of searching for freedom to avoid emotional truth, and the pain of attracting people who promise expansion, but leave you feeling lost, confused, or unworthy of being chosen. With Sagittarius in the 12th house, your soul carries lifetimes of wounding around disillusionment, abandonment, idealism, and spiritual bypassing. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have been led astray by people you trusted blindly. You may have chosen optimism over truth to survive painful environments. You may have experienced loss or exile after speaking your beliefs or following your purpose. And you may have internalized the message, don't get attached, it won't last. As a result, you developed a subtle habit of leaving before you've left. You numb out with ideas, distractions, or future fantasies. You dream of what could be while disconnecting from what is. You unconsciously attract people who echo that same instability. Those who preach purpose but avoid accountability. who come in hot and vanish just as fast, who keep your hope alive, but your feet off the ground. You fall in love with potential, and you suffer in silence when it doesn't become reality. Now, with Sagittarius in the 12th, you're often drawn to adventurous, bold, charismatic people who chase experience over intimacy. Philosophers, seekers, travelers, or free spirits who resist commitment. Emotionally inconsistent partners who speak big but follow through small. People who use humor, preaching, or positivity to deflect depth. Or spiritual or intellectual types who leave you feeling unseen emotionally. Now, at first, these connections feel like fate. You're swept up in the story, the chemistry, the vision. But later, you're left picking up the pieces, wondering how something that felt so meaningful turned into confusion, silence, or distance. The pain isn't just about what they did. It's about how easily you disappeared into their potential, while your own needs got lost in the fog. These karmic ties are not about betrayal. They're about clarity. They teach you to stop abandoning your emotional reality for someone else's dreams. That being understanding is not the same as being respected. That chasing someone's potential is just another way of avoiding your own truth. That spiritual connection without emotional accountability is a trap. And that the truth doesn't always feel good, but it always sets you free. This placement calls you to stop using fantasy as a distraction and to finally feel what's real. Healing Sagittarius in the 12th means coming back to the present moment, reclaiming your truth, and rooting your soul into what's actually here. Now, the first step to this is to acknowledge where you've chased meaning and abandoned yourself. What dreams, people, or ideas have you clung to in order to escape what needed to be felt? So, write out, "I lost myself in the hope that," and complete the sentence 5 times. Let each answer bring you home. Next is to let go of the fantasy that someone else will show you your path. You are your own guide. You are your own teacher. You no longer need to be led. You need to listen within. So ask yourself, what am I hoping this person will prove about me? That you're worthy, chosen, meant for more? Give yourself that answer now. Next is to sit still with the truth you've been avoiding. You don't have to be in motion to matter. You don't have to escape to survive. Your truth is not too heavy for you. Sit in silence for 10 minutes without journaling, reading, scrolling, or speaking. Let your emotions rise. Don't judge them. Just witness. And finally, Reclaim your spiritual connection from the people who distorted it. You don't need to forgive and float away. You need to root, discern, and realign. So burn or bury a symbol of a belief or connection that led you away from your truth. And say aloud, I return this story to source. I choose presence. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract that comes with having Sagittarius ruling your 12th house is, I no longer abandon myself in pursuit of a dream. I release the belief that love, freedom, or purpose must come through someone else. I am grounded in my truth, and that is enough. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you're feeling this and want to go even deeper, I've got some powerful offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all designed to help you fully step into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Capricorn in the 12th house is the invisible weight. This is the karmic energy of overfunctioning to earn love and the pain of attracting people who depend on you, pressure you, or make you feel like your worth is measured by your output. With Capricorn in the 12th house, your soul carries heavy emotional residue around responsibility, control, pressure, and proving your worth through performance. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have been the provider, protector, or emotional anchor for others. Been praised for your strength, but punished for your softness. Been forced to grow up too fast, or made to feel like your needs were a burden. Or you may have internalized a belief that love must be earned through effort, usefulness, or sacrifice. So now you unconsciously equate love with labor. You feel safer in control than in vulnerability. You over-deliver, overachieve, overcarry, and rarely ask for anything in return. You're likely drawn to relationships where you're the stable one, the fixer, the rock. But under the surface, you're exhausted and deeply afraid that if you stop performing, you'll stop being loved. Now, having Capricorn in the 12th draws in people who expect emotional labor or support without reciprocation. People who seem cold, critical, or emotionally unavailable. People who are overly focused on status, success, or image. Those who lean on your strength, but rarely hold space for your softness. And people who reinforce your belief that you must earn your place in their life. Now, at first, you may admire these people's ambition or maturity, but eventually they make you feel like your humanity is an inconvenience and that your value only exists in how much you carry for them. These relationships mirror your own internalized story. I have to be strong, steady, and perfect to deserve connection. Now, after the pain, These karmic ties bring you back to a sacred truth. You are not a machine. You are not a role. You are not your results. These connections teach you that love is not a transaction, that you don't have to be useful to be kept, that your tenderness is not a flaw, it's your power, that being supported doesn't mean you've failed, and that you are enough, even when you rest, mess up, or fall apart. These people and patterns aren't here to break you down. They're here to show you what you've been carrying and finally invite you to put it down. Capricorn in the 12th asks you to soften, surrender, and reclaim your right to just be without the pressure to prove. The first step to heal the karmic cycle of having Capricorn ruling your 12th house is to name the ways you've overfunctioned to feel safe. What roles did you take on to keep others happy? What parts of you were hidden to seem together? So write the following. I thought I had to be blank to be loved. Then write what your inner child actually needed. Let the two versions of you talk. Next is to let go of being the one who always has it together. You're allowed to be unsure, scared, soft, slow. That doesn't make you less lovable. It makes you real. So tell someone you trust, I'm not okay today, and I don't have a solution. I just need to be held in it. And let them show up. And next is to stop seeking validation through usefulness. Being respected is not the same as being received. You're worthy of both. So don't do the thing. Don't fix the mess. Let it sit. Let yourself sit. Let the world prove it will still spin without your over-efforting. And finally, reconnect with softness as a strength. Capricorn's healing happens through emotion, not endurance. So let your walls down, not for them, but for you. So place your hands on your chest and belly. Breathe deeply and say aloud, I am not what I do. I am not what I carry. I am still worthy when I rest. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract of having Capricorn ruling your 12th house is, I release the belief that I must earn love through effort. I am safe to rest, receive, and be held. My softness is enough. My presence is enough. I am enough. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you are ready to stop playing small, everything you need to expand, elevate, and evolve is waiting for you in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Aquarius in the 12th house is the outsider within. This is the karmic energy of hiding your truth to avoid rejection, and the pain of attracting people who disconnect, distance, or disappear the moment you open your heart. With Aquarius in the 12th house, your soul carries deep-seated wounds around belonging, individuality, emotional detachment, and abandonment. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have been exiled, rejected, or othered for thinking differently. Been told your ideas, emotions, or identity were too weird or inconvenient. You may have learned that connection required conformity. And you also may have internalized the belief that being fully you meant being left behind. So now you often stay slightly detached, even from the people you love. You withhold your deepest emotions or quirks, fearing that if they really saw your whole self, they'd walk away. You unconsciously attract people who reflect this dynamic. Those who are emotionally unavailable, unpredictable, aloof, or who only love the version of you that fits into their mold. With Aquarius in the 12th house, you may attract people who are independent to a fault, refusing to be emotionally close. People who are intellectual but emotionally inconsistent or cold. Those who are unpredictable, hot one moment, distant the next. Attracted to your uniqueness but reject your vulnerability. Or they're dismissive of your feelings or evasive when things get real. These people often leave you feeling invisible in plain sight. You open your heart and they vanish or freeze. You get close and then they shut down. But underneath the pain is this karmic truth. You've been emotionally hiding as well. You attract disconnection because somewhere inside you still fear that being fully seen equals being abandoned. Now, often after the pain, these karmic ties help you to stop disassociating from your emotional truth. They teach you that true connection requires vulnerability, not performance or perfection. That rejection is not a death sentence, it's redirection. That you're not here to be palatable or predictable. That people who ghost your depth were never meant to hold it. And that you can't keep editing yourself and expect to feel fulfilled. The pain pushes you into your authenticity. And when you stop ghosting your own emotions, you stop attracting people who do it to you. Healing Aquarius in the 12th house is about giving yourself permission to belong to yourself first. So no one else's acceptance defines your worth. Now, the first step to this is to acknowledge where you've hidden your truth to fit in. What parts of yourself have you tucked away to be liked? What emotions have you labeled too much or not logical enough? So write down, I stopped showing blank because I was afraid blank. Let this reveal the parts of you that are still waiting to be reintroduced. Next is to let go of the identity you created to avoid rejection. You don't need to be detached, entertaining, or above it all to feel safe. You need to be you. So sit with your younger self in meditation and ask, when did I learn I wasn't allowed to be me? Speak the opposite truth aloud. Next is to let someone see you emotionally, even if it feels risky. You've taught people how to connect to your mind. Now it's time to teach them how to meet your heart. So tell someone how you really feel, even if it's uncomfortable. Start the sentence with, I'm afraid to say this, but, and let it rise. And finally, choose people who can hold both your uniqueness and your depth. Your soul doesn't want shallow admiration. It wants mirrored intimacy. So ask yourself, does this connection celebrate my soul or just tolerate my sparkle? Let the answer guide your boundaries. A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract of having Aquarius ruling your 12th house is, I release the fear that my authenticity will cost me connection. I no longer hide my emotions to feel safe. I am fully myself, and I am worthy of being loved just as I am. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who could also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this lit a spark and you're craving more, be sure to check out my offerings linked in my description box below, which are all crafted to support your journey into your next season. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Pisces in the 12th house is the soul that dissolved itself. This is the karmic energy of losing yourself and others to feel divine, and the pain of attracting people who blur boundaries, drain your spirit, or disappear just when you need them most. With Pisces in the 12th house, your soul carries heavy emotional memory around self-sacrifice, illusion, being a victim, and merging with others to feel loved or spiritually worthy. In past lives, or early in this one, you may have lost yourself in caregiving, spirituality, or romantic idealism. You may have taken on others' pain as your own in hopes of saving or healing them. You may have confused love with suffering or transcendence. You may have the internalized belief of, if I dissolve my needs, I'll be chosen. If I disappear, I'll finally be safe. So now you often float between worlds, between truth and illusion, between self and other. You may fantasize about being rescued, redeemed, or finally seen, while deeply afraid of being fully known. You unconsciously attract people who reflect this. Those who are emotionally unavailable, lost, addicted, or searching for something outside of themselves. They don't just wound you, they absorb you, and you let them. Because on some level, you've believed that your love can fix them. You may be drawn to or deeply impacted by people who are elusive, dreamy, artistic, or spiritually intense. People who are emotionally evasive or chronically unavailable. People who are overwhelmed by life, trauma, or addiction. People who are beautifully broken, offering chaos disguised as connection. Or people who are prone to guilt tripping, victimhood, or energetic enmeshment. These people stir your compassion, your romanticism, your empathy. You feel like you've known them forever, like you're meant to save or complete them. But what starts as spiritual chemistry often ends in energetic depletion. These relationships reflect your karmic belief. I must lose myself to feel loved. I must disappear to feel divine. These karmic ties do not come to destroy your softness. They come to protect it from being exploited, misplaced, or misunderstood. They teach you that love doesn't require you to dissolve, that your soul is not a sponge for other people's suffering, that boundaries are not unspiritual, they are holy, that longing isn't the same as alignment, that your healing is not your identity, it's your foundation. Eventually, you realize you can be intuitive, open, and full of light, and still say no. Healing Pisces in the 12th house means becoming the anchor your spirit has been waiting for and calling your energy back home. The first step to this is to acknowledge where you've mistaken pain for purpose. What relationships or identities have you clung to that kept you in suffering? When did sacrifice become your self-worth? So write a list that's titled, I Thought Love Meant, and complete it honestly. Then write, real love feels like, and let yourself feel the difference. Next is to call your energy back from everyone you've merged with. You don't need to carry their pain. You don't need to be their savior. It's safe to return to you. So in meditation, say aloud, I call my energy back from everyone I gave it to in ways that drained me. I am whole again. Visualize it returning to your body. Next is to set energetic boundaries without guilt. Empathy is your gift, but without boundaries, it becomes your burden. So practice saying, "That's not mine to carry." Say it out loud when someone tries to hand you their chaos, and let it end there. And finally, ground your intuition into action. Pisces energy floats. To heal it, you must root it. Bring your dreams and insight into embodiment. So create a daily grounding ritual. Feet on earth, hand on your heart, and breathe in your belly. And say, "I am here, I am held, I am whole." A great affirmation for you to clear the soul contract of having Pisces ruling your 12th house is, "I no longer disappear to feel loved. I release the need to be needed to feel worthy. My energy is sacred. My soul is sovereign, and I belong fully to myself." If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you're really feeling this and want to go even deeper, I've got some powerful offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all designed to help you fully step into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching.